Oh, a couple of things that you should consider when you get the O'Reilly subscription service, or a little, maybe it's a little bit of a rant, I don't know. I like the idea that you can have access to all the books at any time. It's basically a Netflix version of O'Reilly books, and they also provide Manning books, Pack books, a couple of other stuff, right? It's pretty nice. You pay $50 for that, but okay, so what should you consider? Thing number one is, what do you have at the end? So when you have, let's say you have a monthly subscription. This is the easiest way. Let's say you have $50 per month. To make it a little bit easier, let's say 1 year has about 10 months, so you have about $500 per year. Okay, if you cancel your subscription, everything in your library is inaccessible. I don't know if it's gone, I never unsubscribed, but everything becomes inaccessible. So let's say you put in $500 for 1 year. Let's say, rough case, you put in $5,000 for 10 years. But if you, after 10 years, decide to not use it anymore, you cannot access any book that you ever read in these years. And I think this is something you should be very aware of. How does this differ, for example, to services like Packt or Manning, at least at this moment? They offer, for example, that you get one book for free. First, the service is much cheaper, and second, you get one book for free every month. So even if you lose access to all the books, at least one book per month you can actually download and own after that. And after the 10 years, after you spend your, let's say for Manning, I think you have $30, you spend for 10 years $3,000, but you also end up with a couple of books from these 10 years, right? So I think 120 books, I guess. So that's a big difference. That's something you should consider. So everything is gone. That's one thing. Number two, everything you read, I think this is common in most of the services though, you can only read in the space of O'Reilly in this case. So you can only use their web interface, you can only use their, in this case, the app interface. Unfortunately, for these kinds of services, I don't think that there's like a standardized way yet, where you can say, well, I have this standardized way, and now to connect to the service, let's say, and I can read the contents with any app I like, and that fits my needs. Okay, that was a little bit of a tangent I went here, but my main point is you're constrained to their UI, and if their UI doesn't work well with you, then well, you're just screwed. I like to give you one example for that. So this is an English book about AWS. When I hit this button, so they have this nice feature here that it will read the book for you actually. So I hit this button.
To the availability of the individual as well as business continuity.
Yeah, that was not English. I cannot change the setting here to English, and the book is in English. The app should know the book is in English. It should read it in English. Why is it reading it in a German, like, interpretation way? Because my iPad is set to German. Obviously, every book I read then is German. And also, like I would, let's say it is configurable somewhere, like, even if I long press, there's nothing here, right? There are a couple of other like minor bugs that are here, things I really don't like at the UI in general. Something I figured out, you can't search, or I was not able to search when I had no internet connection. Oh hell, what is that? Even though the book was downloaded, so you see the book's downloaded. Also, I had a couple of problems taking notes when I'm not connected to the internet. That's also something. From the app, apparently you can also not export your highlights. So let's say you have some highlights here. You cannot export that. You cannot reorganize that. If you compare, for example, this interface to the Kindle interface is like, I don't know, it's not good, but it's like still 5 to 10 times better, I feel, than this one. So I feel like the service itself, the UI itself is pretty immature, and paying $50 for a pretty immature service, I feel, honestly, myself, as an individual, this is a little bit much. Especially if you calculate that you end up with nothing at the end. You have nothing in your hands at the end. They also offer this nice feature called O'Reilly Answers, and I thought actually that's the big deal, right? This is O'Reilly books are generally a good quality, at least from my point of view. That's a different topic we can go into, but so I thought, okay, you have this knowledge of all the O'Reilly books, and then you have this kind of AI thing in behind that, so you can just ask any random question and it will look in all the O'Reilly books and finds nice answers. A little bit maybe like Perplexity. That was my dream, but it turns out, first of all, it is pretty not smart. So if you compare it to ChatGPT, for example, then there's like worlds between that. First. Second, you cannot follow up. So you can ask one question, it will give you an answer, and then you have to ask another completely new question. And also the interface doesn't provide you with that. So you have to, for example, reload the page. I cannot show you here in this app because I figured it's not working right in the app. Also, why not? That's a different topic. But so I think the direction of O'Reilly is good here, but the features are just not there. And let the user pay this amount of money for the kind of broken features, for features that are not like, yeah, I feel that's a little bit too much. So these are I think the three main things you should be considering. Again, if you compare like the last point with, for example, Manning or Pact, I think in both cases you receive one ebook for free every month. You could collect these ebooks and in the end put it into some other thing, maybe into ChatGPT, maybe into Gemini, into NotebookLM, I don't know. And then let other AIs run on the information that you already received. But as O'Reilly doesn't offer this service, you can only use the AI features that O'Reilly itself has. You cannot use a better AI or like a better system for that, because you never get to have the real books. And that is actually something very sad.